All right, Dog fans, here we go. It's time yet again for another edition of Talkin Huskies right here on Root Sports Northwest, and of course available every single week on YouTube. My name is Dave Sothiamaler, joined by ex-Husky tight end, a legend, baby, Cam Cleland, producer Alex Altman. Big thanks to our friends at the law offices of Catherine Clark. They've been with us all year long. I know Catherine was fired up to see what happened on Friday night. And Cam, here we go, baby. This is the show that we've been waiting for all year long. The air feels a little cleaner. The sun looks a little brighter. The world seems a little more peaceful. My wife is not as naggy as she's been in the last couple of weeks, maybe, because the Huskies are heading, big boy, to the Final Four and are 13-0 after knocking off the Ducks on Friday in Vegas. How about that?
All right, Husky people, we're all talking to you. Is this not the greatest feeling you've ever had as a Husky fan? I know. All of us that lived through 1991, we can all remember that. That is completely fair. But those newbies, anybody that's, what do we want to say, like 13 years old and up, because 13, 12, whatever, how it works, this is an amazing feeling. I, truthfully, to this day, thought I had multiple heart attacks during the game, but I still kept together because Dave was throwing paddles on me in between breaks. No matter what, this is unbelievable at 13-0, my friend.
Nah, just amazing. And Cam, that was, look, I mean, just to answer your question about the feeling that Husky fans had Friday in Vegas, the week leading up to the game, and I don't know if Husky fans felt the same way I did. I'm certain a lot of them did. I know you did as well, Cam. I was looking forward to the game being over. This was a stressful week leading up to this game for a lot of reasons. Final Four berth on the line. History at 13-0 on the line. And oh, by the way, the chance to deflect the Ducks, and push them back to where they came from and have that over their head forever. Bragging rights in perpetuity. Yeah, dude, this was pretty damn special on Friday. And the way they did it, Cam, right? Punching Oregon right in the mouth. Physical. Coming out 20-3 in the first half of this game. Dylan Johnson going bananas on the ground against the Oregon defense on Friday. This was a performance for the ages, pal, in Vegas last weekend.
Well, there's so many things and talking points we could do. We could do a 10-hour show of just how it felt. But I want to give a massive shout out to winning the line of scrimmage and getting this team with Kalen DeBoer. Getting this team ready on a short week, by the way, where your opponent had an extra day's rest, by the way, and everybody across the country, by the way, said you were a 10-point dog, by the damn way. But all you did is show up in Vegas and win the line of scrimmage. And anybody that's a football fan can go back as far as football's ever started. If you find a way to push your opponent around at the point of attack, it's humiliating. You and I, we talked about it after the game on the Honk Show. It's like when you take it right and you just rip it right out from you and you pull it right from your chest and you say, I'm just going to take your heart and I'm going to show it right in front of you. And that's what the Dogs did in the first half. And Oregon, although a very good football team, battled back, gave us a little bit in the end, okay, because a good team, and I give them their credit. They are a good football team, but we were just better that day.
Oh, no doubt. And I think you're right that there is and we've mentioned this on the radio show now a couple times this week, there's a perception, Cam, about this football team that they are a team that relies on finesse and a clean pocket for the quarterback. And there's certainly, right, an element of that for this football team. But for Dylan Johnson and for this defense to do what they did both on the ground and against the run on Friday blew me away. Bucky Irving, 20 yards rushing in this game, his lowest output of the year. Dylan Johnson playing hurt on a bum wheel, 28 carries for $152 and a couple of touchdowns, including the last drive of the game. Washington gets the ball back after the two-play touchdown drive by Oregon. Nate Calippo gets called for a holding penalty. It's 1st and 20, and you're thinking, oh man, there's a chance here that Oregon gets the ball back. Dylan Johnson said, nah, those 20 yards, I'll get them all for you. How about the game that number 7 had Friday, baby?
Unbelievable. It's a word we're going to use so many times by number 7. And going back to your point about the running attack of Oregon, take away the 44-yard run by Bo Nix, which was a scramble, by the way, where Braylon Trice went on the pump fake. That's 80 yards total that team had on the ground. That's a team that was going into that game was averaging 195 on the ground. How do you even justify that other than straight toughness and understanding? But the way DJ, from the opening play of the game in October was pitch crack and toss on the outside, and DJ ran it around the corner, and we said, oh, we can run the football on Oregon. And then the two same plays, back to back, to close it out on the edge. When you have to win a football game, and they know you're going to run, everybody in the stadium knows you're going to run, and you still can't stop it, not once, but twice, it means a lot to that group, that offensive group, Coach Huff, Coach Grubb, DJ, all of that. That was big time, man.
Well, Cam, and not just Bucky Irving and stopping him. I mean, look, and you mentioned it, the defensive line, the offensive line, incredible. Oregon backs in this game, 14 carries for 55 yards total. And don't forget, Jordan James had a 17-yard run, so 13 carries for 38 yards on the ground the rest of the way. I mean, are you kidding me? Nobody does that to Oregon, and Washington did it to him in the biggest game of the year on Friday night. We mentioned Dylan Johnson and the game that he had. Lots of great scenes after the game on Friday. Had a chance on the field to catch up with number 7 after his legendary performance against the Ducks.
I don't know how to put it into words, man. I'm just blessed to be in this position to do something special, you know, and with a special group of guys. And they leaned on me when the game was in the balance, man. And you know, I told them I got them, and you know, I did what I did.
Cam, no doubt his performance resonates, I think, with a lot of people. The way he went out there with the bum wheel, the bum ankle, and sucked it up and just fought through the pain on Friday night. Absolute legendary performance. But I want to talk about the defense a little bit here, because this was a Oregon football team that this year on offense was averaging 44 points a game. In the 2 games that UW played against them, both in Seattle and in Vegas, this defense held the Ducks to 16 points below their season average. How about the performance by the Husky defense, not just in Week 6, but also Friday against that Duck offense?
Well, also, you have to question, if you're an Oregon Duck and you were looking at offensively how you started, Coach Morrell, Coach Inge came out with a game plan, and you tried to do something as an Oregon. You said, you know what, we think Washington's going to try to stop our run early. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to try to throw the ball early, quick. Washington, you know what you do? You bring pressure in the middle, but you go man coverage on the outside, because you know Bo Nix, majority of his completions are at 5 to 7 yards in RPO world. You outcoached them, you outpredicted them, but you did things in moments by stopping them at their strengths. Now, sometimes coaching matters. No, all the time coaching matters. But the adaptation, you could see the run in that first quarter, it shocked Oregon on those first. Tell me the last time you've seen Oregon go 3 and out in back-to-back possessions. That does not happen unless you out-game plan people and you out-coach them.
Now, phenomenal performance by everybody on Friday, and we could be here, as you said, Cam, for hours. We got a lot to cover in the game on Friday. Maybe you look ahead to Texas in the semifinal. A lot more Talkin Huskies, including you get a chance to hear from Jamarcus Shepard. He's fired up, man. We'll do that next on Talkin Huskies right here on Root Sports Northwest. All right, Dog fans, we're back here on a Pac-12 championship winning edition of Talkin Huskies right here on Root Sports Northwest. Big thanks to our friends at Nordstrom Heating and Air for being with us all year long. Find them on the web for all your winter heating needs and your summer cooling needs at NordstromHeating.com. Cam, you know how fired up these guys were on the field after the game on Friday. Had a chance to catch up with wide receivers coach Jamarcus Shepard after UW won the Pac-12 championship Friday in Vegas.
For the first time, I'm lost for words.
No way.
All I want to say is this: Husky Nation, we love you. We love you, okay? We appreciate all that you do for us. Let's go to the playoffs! Let's go!
What a performance by these wide receivers. And my, oh my, how much different does this offense look with number 11, number 2, number 1, and number 4, and number 0 all playing together, pal?
It's the best offense in the country. You're not going to argue against it, okay? You're going to try to. But when J-Mac came out there, that changed the gambit. Jeremy Bernard rushes for a touchdown from a quick little pitch, but then you saw Jalen Polk get his confidence back very quickly. Yes, it was inside, and it was on turf, and we are fast, and number 9 dealt it to them all day long. But J-Mac, Dave, all you Husky fans out there, that dude is a difference maker, and certainly Rome went off too on some amazing catches, the deep overs, going from the left side on the offense, the crossing route all the way on the backside. It was incredible to watch those two work. And you could see even Michael Penix knew it. In the moment, it's like, I have my weapons back and it's time to shine. And they attacked Oregon from the get-go.
Yeah, I thought a crucial moment, Cam, in this game when Oregon took the lead on Washington in the third quarter for UW to bounce back immediately on the very next drive and take the lead back and get Jalen Polk and get Dylan Johnson involved on that drive. And then how about the defense, though? When the Ducks get the ball back, there were 3 straight plays on the defensive side of the ball. I know you know the 3 that I'm talking about. Eddie Olafosio falls down and is able to get up and recover in time to bring down Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving running right into Big Tooley, right on the line of scrimmage for no gain. And then Braylon Trice, Bo Nix to take off on third down. Had an alley, had a seam, but number 8 was there to meet him and grab him and end the drive and force the Oregon punt. And the Huskies never looked back.
Yeah, Dave, you are spot on those plays, because if Eddie doesn't make that tackle, we're talking a little bit differently. But if Braylon does not make that tackle on an ET stunt, end tackle stunt, Braylon on the outside, he wraps in, and as he's going, Bo Nix, before he wraps across, Bo Nix sees an absolute gaping hole that would have been a 20 to 25 yard run, and Braylon Trice, right there when you needed to, the All-American, makes that tackle and stops it and shuts it down. It's being in the right spot, but it's being in those disciplined plays when you need it to be. It was incredible. And those are those guys, and those are those plays we're going to remember. And we could talk about little things throughout the entire game, but how important those were significant defensive stops.
You know, Cam, I'm sitting here thinking as you're talking about the defense and those plays that we mentioned there, I cannot wait to watch this week's episode of Talkin Ducks, man. Give me a text when that thing hits the air. I got to see what those guys got to say about the game on Friday. But back to the defense, number 8, Braylon Trice. This is why he came back. It's why he came back. It's why ZTF came back. It's why everybody came back for this moment Friday. Had a chance to catch up with number 8 after the win Friday in Vegas.
I get to do this with the dudes that I spend every single day with, the fans who support us through everything, the alumni that support us through everything. This is what we worked so hard for, and we deserve every single moment of this. So Husky Nation, enjoy every single second of this, and we are not done.
So the defense overall, man, Cam, 38 points allowed the last 8 games combined in the fourth quarter. We've been talking about that fourth quarter defense for a long time now. Would it end? Eventually, would it turn into a pumpkin? And the answer, at least until the semifinal, is absolutely not.
Well, there is something about this team. There is a psychological difference to this team's makeup of confidence that you cannot just suddenly develop. You have to earn it. And you have to do it in close matches that you've had experience and you can fall back on and say, hey, what did we do here? What did we do versus Arizona State, versus Washington State, versus Utah, versus USC, in those close matches when you had to close it out versus Stanford? You have to fall back on that and be in that pressure situation, but have the confidence to say, we know how to be disciplined in these moments and make those plays. You know, anybody that's played this game that understands, you can't just throw that out with the bathwater, babies, all those things. It matters. The way this team figured that out in the end, the way they've closed at the end of the season, Dave, I've never seen a football team in my life do this, and we're not done yet.
7 of the last 8 games to end the year were one-score games, and Washington won every single one. And Cam, whether it's the bath, the baby water, the bath baby, doesn't matter, because the Dogs are 13-0, baby, and going back to the Final Four for the first time in 7 years. More on Talkin Huskies next, right here on Root Sports Northwest. All right, Dog fans, back here again on Talkin Huskies right here on Root Sports Northwest. Dave Softy-Mahler's my name, Cam Cleveland's his name. And shout out, by the way, Cam, to producer Alex Altman behind the scenes making the show go. He wasn't rooting for the same team that you and I were on Friday night. He's a Duck fan. He's feeling it big time. So we know you're hurting, big boy. Good luck in the Fiesta Bowl against, who is it? Liberty? Yeah, Liberty in the Fiesta Bowl. Go get them. We're all pulling for you, pal. All right, listen, Cam. Big thanks to our friends at SimplySeattle.com. If you're looking for anything on the website, Sugar Bowl gear, the old Don James throwback hat, by the way, NIL gear, Michael Penix gear, going for the Heisman Trophy on Saturday. Whatever you got your eyes on for the holidays, be sure and use code WOOF15 at checkout at SimplySeattle.com for 15% off anything. Cam, I want to talk about the offensive line, man. For 2 years in a row, this offensive line has been killing it. The architect behind that group is the offensive line coach, Scott Huff. had a chance to hear from him after the game on Friday.
Trust your training. Do your job. Focus on the things that got us here. For the O-line, it's easy. Communication and fundamentals. That was it.
Cam, Scott Huff, as you know, was the only man that Kalen DeBoer brought back from Jimmy Lake's staff. I think the last couple of years have shown why.
Absolutely. And if you're a Scott Huff fan like I am, because I know that guy gets down and dirty, if you were describing an offensive line coach and you said, can you please drop what it looks like to be an offensive line coach, you would have a picture of Scott Huff. That's exactly what you would do, because he's humble, but he understands it's the dirty work of the O-line. As somebody that was a tight end, I always hung out with the O-linemen because I knew they kept it real. And they understood that you don't win football games on the outside. You win it in the trenches. And those boys, from watching them, Parker Brailsford, how about that young dude dominating as a center, getting a chance to showcase that dude's talent. Watching Troy Fautano, Roger Rosengard, Nate Kalepo, Julius Buelow push around the big boys of Oregon up front and dominating was so satisfying from a guy that likes to get their nose dirty. He couldn't get any better.
Yeah, and you mentioned Parker Brailsford. Congrats to him, the freshman center, the redshirt freshman center. Second team All Pac-12 announced this week. Troy Fautanu, first team All Pac-12. But how about the big controversy? Michael Penix is in New York City with Bo Nix. He beat Bo Nix twice this season. But Bo Nix is your Offensive Player of the Year and your first-team All-Conference quarterback. How about that?
Yeah, I of course, I'm going to be realistic when I look at it, is that stats don't win championships and they don't win games. Leaders, okay, that's how you do it, and winners win. And that's what Michael Penix is. He's the best player in this conference. It goes without saying. Everybody that has a brain and an eyes, and no discredit to the people that voted against him. Politics are a part of votes. But when we all know who is the best player in this conference, it's Michael Penix.
No question. Yeah, and look, I mean, obviously the Heisman Trophy ceremony coming up on Saturday. I had somebody tweet me before the game that Michael Penix will not win the Heisman, but UW will win in a close game. So first of all, you're 1 for 1 so far. Second of all, I said to this guy, where do I sign? Are you kidding me? Michael Penix would give up the Heisman Trophy. He would give up every single accolade thrown his way for UW to have a shot at winning a national title, and that's what we have here, folks, on our hands now. 1 month, Cam, before the Texas game. What are these next 3.5 weeks going to be all about for these boys before they head to New Orleans and the Sugar Bowl for a chance at a national championship game appearance?
Well, a lot of these guys have never been here, understanding in this concept of having to be a national championship game in New Orleans. So a lot of them have played in bowl games, but in this time, you got to finish finals. Guys got to concentrate on grades. The coaches are going to be out recruiting. There's going to be some distractions. Then you're going to have time to go home and settle in. Then everybody comes back, returns on December 20th, gets some home practices, and then you're off to New Orleans, the Big Easy, a city that I'm kind of familiar. We're very familiar with that fleur-de-lis down there. I love that city tremendously. I'm ecstatic to get back there. But this Husky team will be ready. They're smart. These guys are not done yet. Not at all. They understand it. Mike does, and the rest of the leaders do on that team.
Well, and Cam, of course, you've got history with the Saints in that town, so we'll be leaning on you for all the great secret spots on Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve. What a spot to party at. What a great place for Husky fans to go. Obviously, Texas has the advantage proximity-wise. There's no question about that. There's going to be a lot of Longhorn fans there, but you're indoors. You're on the turf. This should be a perfect day for Mike Penix to throw the football and toss it around the yard. You'll get some guys back healthy. Dylan's ankle will heal. Asa Turner's hand will heal. And this football team should be as healthy as they've been all year long before this game with Texas.
It's going to be a frightening team to game plan. I'm sorry, Texas and Steve Sarkisian, you haven't played anybody like us this year. And they know it. And it put us all in the underdog role. No problems. Healthy J-Mac, healthy Germ. Are you kidding me, with Polk and Rome Odunze and Michael Penix and DJ and everybody on defense? Yeah. It's terrifying if you're looking at it from Texas. So, hey, you can wear all the burnt orange you want. Bring it all to the Big Easy. It's not going to matter because purple's still going to reign, my friend.
Bring it on. And by the way, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of what we're talking about here with Simply Seattle. They have been restocked with the Don James-style hats from back in the day. I don't know anybody watching this show who would not want one of these under this tree, by the way, on Christmas morning. So use code WOOF15 for 15% off anything on the website, including Husky gear at simplyseattle.com. We'll come back. We'll do a little Askin' Huskies on Talkin' Huskies. Wrap it up next right here on Root Sports Northwest. All right, Dog fans, welcome back to Talkin' Huskies. Final segment for us on the air. Big thanks to our sponsors, the law offices of Catherine Clark, Nordstrom Heating and Air, and of course our friends at simplyseattle.com. Cam, it's time for a little Askin' Huskies on Talkin' Huskies. Real quick, Matt on Twitter wants to know, will the Huskies stay in Texas after the game or fly back to Seattle after they win this game against the Longhorns?
Interesting. Well, let's think about that. If you're going to win the game, which everybody expects them to do, at least us, we think about it, would you fly 2,600 miles right back to Seattle, turn around, have a meal, a Coke, and a smile in one practice? I'm just betting that you just take a small little puddle jumper over to Houston, which is, oh, by the way, not a long flight. Actually, I think you can drive there in less than 4.5 hours, maybe 5, and just get ready to take on whoever it is in Houston. So it just, proximity would probably be better to stay down south.
Yeah, we'll see if they head back, but win the game first, and then we can have that discussion. By the way, for Husky fans heading down there, a little trick, man. Pensacola, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or get to L.A. and then fly right to New Orleans, man, because flights are few and far between, and they're not cheap either. No question about that. All right, man, that's it for us here on Talkin' Huskies. Big thanks again to our friends at Nordstrom Heating and Air, the law offices of Catherine Clark, and our pals at simplyseattle.com. For producer Alex Altman, Cam Cleveland, I'm Dave Softhy-Mahler. Dawgs are Pac-12 champions. They're 13-0, and we'll see you in New Orleans.